So I just got a prescription refill, and I'm looking at the bottle, and you can see where they spelled my name wrong. My name's actually spelled M-A-R-K. They spelled it M-A-R-C. And my street address and phone number are right, but this is enough to make me ask if this was a mix-up, if I got some random pharmaceutical that I don't need. But they double checked, and they said they had, for some reason, had to manually enter my name this time, and somebody just spelled it wrong. So that's what this is about. So I made this pot of chili, I started making this pot of chili, and I guess I just completely forgot about it, and I left it on the stove for I think 3 days. And you can see where the maggots are starting to rise up in the ground beef. It's pretty disgusting, but that's what it is. This is a picture of my ex-girlfriend from before I knew her. The huge bruise on her face is from she was playing softball and got hit in the face by the ball. But I walk past her house pretty much every single day, and it's not because I'm staking her out or anything. Honestly, I never want to talk to her again. But I go by because it's exactly on my way to where I'm going. So what am I supposed to do? I'll never forget the cardinal rule that I broke. I didn't know it was a cardinal rule, but in conversation, I alluded to the fact that we had been intimate, that we had had sex, and there was nobody else around. It wasn't like this was a publicly made statement or anything, but she just became utterly indignant, and she stomped out of the place. We were in a public place, but nobody overheard this, and I didn't know that was a cardinal rule, that we don't talk about those things. If you look closely at this sheet of paper, you'll see what's called a palimpsest. A palimpsest is the indentation of handwritten words that is impressed upon the sheet of paper that was underneath the sheet on which the words were written. And if you look really closely here, you'll see a very rare autograph of Jesus Christ. And you can just barely see it, but it's definitely there. I paid $8 million for this on eBay. This is what happens when you neglect to water your plants. This used to be a small bouquet of roses, but I didn't water them for about 3 years. And as you can see, they turned into salamanders and frogs and lizards and toads. And they're trapped because they remain connected to the original stems of the roses. And you can't really even knock them off. Like, you know, they become so entrenched. Well, just remember to water your plants. I was born the same day as every president of the United States that was ever elected. And that's how a small group of prognosticators in the know have been able to predict every presidential election since George Washington. I've never smoked, but I used to steal cigarettes compulsively. I had thousands and thousands of them because I discovered that they were really good for building furniture. I made a bunch of couches and recliner chairs and that kind of stuff, and did pretty well for a while. I would get like a couple $1,000 for the couches and maybe half that for the chairs. This television that I'm looking at has been calling out my name, and I really don't appreciate it. I just want to know what's going on here. See, now you just see Dan Rather talking, and he's just talking normal, you know. There, did you hear that? It's not Dan Rather's voice. It's some other voice that's calling out my name. I don't appreciate this. This is the bus I was riding when somebody jumped out of a building and landed on the roof, killing himself. They didn't get rid of the body. They just left it there for 8 days. This was an MTA bus, but it had no destination, so I stayed on the bus for those 8 days. And during that time, the body started to melt, and the flesh dripped onto the floor, forming a viscous pool of fluid. So I just took it on myself. I did the obvious. I made 2 fists, pounded myself on the top of the head 40 times, and that caused the body to come back to life.